the students and all the stakeholders of the education, like principals, parents, counselors, government, societies, and etc. So over to you, Rajul. I know it's 5:10 already, more than two.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Nitin. We really appreciate that. Uh, right. So big thanks once again to all the key speakers, for participating and sharing your perspective and thoughts on this national education policy. With this, we come to the last part of this session, which is the question part. I would also request all the participants here. If you have any question, you can write in the chat box. I would also present those questions to our key speakers. We have already received many questions, but before I start presenting these questions to our key speakers, I just would take a minute in explaining what exactly we have been doing at school Lalaji Solutions. So I'll just take a minute. I'll share my screen for a minute, and then I'll straight away come to that question part. Some of you are already aware with the school Lalaji Solutions. We are India's largest one-stop solution platform. We are present in 42 cities. We are working with somewhere around 4,500 institutions. We help educational institutions in three ways. We help institutions in buying the right thing from right people at right price. We also help institutions in selling their old stuff, like their old buses, generators, their furniture. We also help institutions in raising money. That may be in terms of loans or fee financing, or there are some other ways. Why a school educational institution would need a platform like School Lalaji? You already have your old suppliers. Your team is expert. You believe that you're getting good discounts. So why you need a platform like School Lalaji? For your buying decisions. Two important reasons. In our education ecosystem, we have more than 10,000 educational suppliers. They have wonderful products and services. But one big difficulty for both sides, for school leaders and for those suppliers, is how to reach out, how to create that connect, how to identify right people, how to differentiate between different products and services available. So here we come into picture. We understand your school, your taste, your budgetary limitation, and accordingly we have category experts who interact with different companies. They understand their products. They differentiate among different products. We also talk to their previous clients to just certify their credibility, and accordingly, after doing negotiation, we connect you with the right companies. We give you an option of right companies. We are different companies where we are helping educational institutions. We are helping institutions in smart classroom procurement, uniform, insurance, diesel, solar plant, language lab, security solutions, furniture, recruitment, music classrooms, healthcare, robotics, STEM, STEAM lab, career counseling, stationery, digital marketing, IT solutions, educational tour, generators, learning tools, and finance. And we take the guarantee. We take the guarantee that will save at least your 5 to 7% of your annual expenditure. So that's kind of a 5% additional revenue generation. Just for example, we saved 2 crore 40 lakh rupees for different schools in one company only. That's bus insurance. We are perhaps India's largest school bus insurance partner. Some major highlights: we did 8 megawatt plus solar installation, 300,000 plus bus insurance in 2019, 400 plus smart classroom, 2,000 plus cameras, 350 plus training programs, 56 old buses we sold from one school to other, uniform in 42 schools. And by the end of this 2021, we aim to reach out to 10,000 institutions. We need your support, your guidance, your blessings. So I'll end my talk here. I would request Anuradha ma'am, if I may present the first question to you.
Welcome.
Ma'am, this question has come from Mr. Vijay Kumar. Vijay Kumar ji is a PGT maths with the Millennium School, Patiala. So Vijay Kumar ji's question first part says, what is the implementation plan? From which section this policy is going to be implemented? Number one. Second question from some other educator. What would happen to midday meal scheme? Is it going to change?
We are hoping that from next session, the policy will come into implementation. So by the mid of this year, I think all the trainings will become more aggressive, and the exact framework pertaining to the timelines and everything will start coming. And midday meal will not have any impact because of it, because that is for the nutrition of students. So that will remain there, as it is.
Right. Thank you, ma'am. I'll come back to you. Now I would request Ramchandra sir, sir, if I may present this question to you.
Please.
Sir, the question has come from Miss Mandeep Kaur. She's a teacher with the Millennium School, Patiala. The question says, does the No Child Left Behind Act really promote inclusive education?
Of course, this new educational policy envisages inclusion principle. Special privileges, special priority will be given to the downtrodden children from the tribal areas, children from the backward community, backward class, scheduled caste. So inclusion is the buzzword in the new educational policy.
Right.
For that purpose, the government or other stakeholders.
Right. I'm sorry.
We've lost him.
Right. So I would request now Geeta ma'am, if I may present this question to you. Geeta ma'am, if you have your presence.
Yes.
Right. So ma'am, this question has been asked by Ms. Premila Isin.
Yes.
Premila ji is teacher with Sharda Residential School, Udupi.
Yeah.
The question says, please explain the new admin structure of educational institutions. Are we going to see a new administrative setup? Are we going to see any changes in that?
So the question is aimed at me or Anuradha? Hello.
Geeta ma'am.
Okay. So admin structure, I don't think it will be changing anywhere. Admin is separate from what is happening in the classrooms. And it should be as per the need of the school. Absolutely. If principal thinks that they need 2 admin officers, then they can hire that. Because they are the basic machinery to facilitate everything else that happens in the school. So what I feel is that nothing is going to change as far as admin structure is going to be there in schools. It should be the same.
But there is a talk about changes in the management structure, like who's going to control that school, is there any kind of talk? A lot of people are talking about that now. School owners may lose the control.
No, NEP is not talking about it at all. NEP is all about, as I said, vision and approach to education. Making it more experiential and meaningful for children, for their skills and for learning to meet learning outcomes. There's nothing has been talked about changing any administrative structure in school.
On one side, we are talking about privatization. How can they do this? So that will not be there.
Yes, Geeta ma'am, you're audible. We have got your point, Geeta ma'am. I'll be coming back to you.
Hello, am I audible? Hello.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible. We have got your point. Geeta ma'am. Thank you for that. I'll be coming back to you. For your concluding remark. I would now request Dr. C.C. Geeta ma'am. Geeta ma'am, if I will present this question to you. This has come from Dr. Bala Subramanian. He is a CEO of Europe International University Kuwait chapter. He joined us today as well. The question is about evaluation part, assessment part. So there is a huge talk about the new age 360-degree assessment. So if you can explain that part, Geeta ma'am, how that part is going to bring a change.
Hello.
Dr. C.G. Geeta.
Yeah, can you please repeat the question?
Ma'am, I have pasted the question in the chat box. This is about the evaluation system. What changes you perceive in the assessment part post NEP implementation?
Hello.
Geeta ma'am, have you got the question?
Yes, I've got the question. There's a lot of break. See, as far as assessment is concerned, definitely a lot of changes are required because the kind of activities, projects, and the curriculum pedagogy has been presented, it will not, it will no longer be, a traditional way of assessing the child. CC was yet another landmark tried to, um, assess the children on the basis of whatever they were doing and learning through projects. Now it's even going to be further estimated to the ground level, where just what should be observing the child almost on every day, what is happening, the way we are also doing at our school. Uh, I'm hopeful that MEP will definitely come out with something equal to that. Yes, there will be tremendous changes and a lot of training would be required for the teachers.
Right. Right. I'll come back to Anuradha, ma'am. Let me take some input from Jaswinder sir. Sir, this question is about the language part, and you represent that aspect of education. A lot of people have raised their concern that this NEP is an attempt to dilute the importance of English. What are your assessment? How do you see the evolution of, how do you see the position of English as a language some years later from now?
Okay, I want to answer this in a family question type. If you have two kids and if you say one of your kid is you love him, doesn't mean you don't love the other one. Okay, so the whole important thing is English is going to have its importance. The only thing is we are bringing our Indian language, we are giving it them the due importance or what was required. So if I have, say, if I've got two pencils, right, and if I want to make this pencil longer, doesn't mean I make this shorter, I make this longer, right? So English is not going to lose its importance. Understand one thing is the Indian languages are required for us to go explore our state-wise, local and national heritage. One, get to love our country more, be more nationalistic, and understand the rich culture that we have. We are among the oldest of civilizations. We have the first university in India, and we're looking at information from some other country. Why? Just because we've not explored what we already have. That's one thing. But coming to the answer, will English lose its importance? No. See, understand, we are already the back office of the world. We are planning to become the factory of the world. We are going to become the service center of the world. How are you going to communicate? For us to communicate with the entire world, we need to speak the language that the world speaks. One. Second, the whole repository of information that is internet is in English. So you just can't do away with it. But the only thing is we are going to bring in the other Indian languages. We are going to give them their due importance. So that's what it is. English will never lose. In fact, I will always recommend that start the three language formula. Even if it is Sanskrit, start it at class 1. If we want our kids to learn German and French in class 5, why can't we have Sanskrit in class 1 when it is the mother of most of the Indian languages? In fact, you'll be surprised to know that Sanskrit is not the oldest of languages in India. The oldest language in the world is Tamil. But okay, that's also going to be classified as one of the language. So Vinita ma'am, because you know a little bit of Tamil, I also know a little bit of Tamil because I'm married to a Tamil raised woman who is a Gujarati. So I get to learn 2 more languages. But Tamil.
Modi ji also know a little bit of Tamil. He just revealed.
Yeah, I know that. Don't pull my leg. Okay. So what I was trying to say is Indian languages, it's about time we recognize them and get into them. Each and every language is as important as the other. That's my answer to your question, Raju.
Right. Now I would request Dr. Sanjay Sakalani, sir, Sanjay ji, this question has come from Ms. Sonia Guliani. Sonia ji is a PRT with JM International School, Delhi. The question says, how this NEP is going to benefit weaker students in comparison to those who score higher marks? और यहाँ मैं थोड़ा सा क्वेश्चन को चेंज भी करता हूँ क्योंकि आप दूसरे पर्सपेक्टिव से भी देख रहे थे सर. एक तो एनईपी कैसे हेल्प कर रही है, दूसरा क्वेश्चन ये कि आपको क्या सजेशन है, क्या हमें करना चाहिए, so that those students who are not good in academics, they can score good in their life. So दोनों पर्सपेक्टिव.
Yes, as Anuradha ma'am said that in this NEP we have already options for activity-based learning, experiential learning, all these things. So when we go with this education system, when we go all these learning methods, obviously both the categories will get the benefit of it. No matter like slow learners or learners with the higher IQ, all will get the benefit of it. Means we need to make it more experimental and more learning, activity based. This is the solution, and this is what mentioned in the NEP, I think.
Right. Anuradha ma'am, you want to share, you want to add a point here, right?
Yes, I do.
Please.
About all the three things which were being asked earlier. One was about assessment, the first one. So the assessment is going to be, and it should be always outcome based. An year-end exam always promotes rote learning because you keep learning and then you write down all those answers. So NEP suggests that it should carry on throughout the year through the classroom debates and quizzes and flip teaching methods, role play. So whatever activity children do in the class, the interaction, that should be assessed on the rubric. So, and it gives the teacher also the feedback of how well the children have learned their concepts. So that's one. And thinking and application based questions in this formative learning will be formalized more and more, and rote learning will be more and more discouraged. So this is what the NEP proposes, and all the good schools even now up to the best extent they are into this. That was one. Secondly, you were asking about languages, and Jacinda ji answered quite aptly about it. And another, the vision behind it, definitely culture and heritage and the languages. But the main thing is that language should not become the barrier in education, in while learning the concepts. Many children feel very shy, when their second language is English, so they're not very comfortable. So instead of, they are too shy to ask a question or, answer something. So they remain quiet in the class. So that hampers their learning. So that's how we see that in grade 1, a child is not able to read, comprehend. And so because they have not understood the questions only, because there are problem sums in English and they do not understand English. So had they been in Gujarati or maybe the whatever language the child speaks in, so maybe then they will understand, they will think, they will get engaged in the class in that discussion. So it will actually help the education a lot. And of course, the languages, the other points which he covered were also quite valid. And then I think last we were, and English by no means, because schools are English medium schools, and schools can always have that communication classes, and first onwards, second onwards, their speaking could be in, I mean, the way the school plans it. So children start speaking in that language, and English medium schools, anyway, they have to understand all their lessons and they have to answer in English. So English by no means is getting defeated here. So English remains and its importance is well understood. But languages, local languages will really help, small kids interact better with their teachers, and they will learn better. And what was the last one about which Mr. Sanjay was, yeah, one more question I saw in the text box, international, at the international level. So here I would say that now that we are looking at skill acquisition with an international benchmarking, because we are looking at those PISA tests, we are looking at that at grade 3 all the children should have acquired. So there'll be national benchmarking test at grade 3 and 8 level according to NEP. So every school will get to know with uniformity that where do they all stand, and then they'll be working towards it. So I'm sure with the inclusion of social work and global citizenship and all, I think we are walking towards that international success at international level also. Shortly, in short, one more. Sonia, I think, asked about it, how the weaker children will be benefited. So NEP talks about inclusivity. And as you were asking about no child being left behind. So it's about all the special needs. It's about all the, I mean, children who are introvert and, who are extroverts, and also about the children who are gifted. So when you include all, you include, all the skill sets. So NEP talks about that in a big way. Schools to have special educators, schools to have counselors, and all the teachers to know about special needs. So there is a provision for that also. So there'll be benefit.
Thank you, Anuradha ma'am, for those detailed response and every question which was there. Big thanks. I'll be coming back to you for your concluding remark. And now I would request Nitinji, if I may present the last question to you. Nitinji, if we have your presence. Nitin Nagpalji, do we have your presence? Okay. So I believe you have lost the connection with Nitin Nagpal. So with this, we come to the end of this very, very special session. But before we end the session, I would request our key speakers if you can have your concluding remark. And we have established one very interesting practice that while sharing your concluding remark, if you can also share one idea, one thought that you would like to implement if you get a chance to become Minister of Education of a country. So what would be your priority that you would like to achieve? So I request with Dr. Sanjay Saklani sir. Sanjay sir, you are if you would be the youngest Education Minister of India. What would be your priority?
So many things are there which I would like to change in this education policy. Yeah, it's good.
Sir, एक ही दिन के लिए बने आप.
हाँ सर, एक दिन में मैं तो 1 घंटे में बहुत कुछ कर दूंगा सर. 1 day is more than enough. See, I welcome this education policy, new education policy. So many good things are there in it. Okay, like flexibility of choosing the subjects, other things, so many good things are there. But somewhere things are not presented properly, means not kept all the categories in mind. Somewhere I felt it, maybe it's my personal view, personal opinion, but somewhere more you can say improvement can be done in it. So those improvements I would do if I become the one day.
वंडरफुल. और ये हमारे मोदी जी का ही जादू है सर कि सेशन के शुरू में संजय सर कह रहे थे कि नहीं इसको वापस लीजिए, इसमें कुछ भी नया नहीं है. And at the end of the session, Sanjay sir ने कहा कि नहीं.
I said many things are there. I question the implementation. Now also I am questioning the implementation. I am questioning. I am doubtful about the implementation.
And I'm really sure, Sanjay sir, when we have young, dynamic education leaders like you, so I'm sure implementation won't be that problem. So big thanks for joining and sharing your perspective. Now I would request Jaswinder sir, sir, if I may ask you the same, your concluding remark, and what would be your priority if you get a chance to become Minister of Education?
Okay, so thank you. I'll start with the concluding remark. This is a disruptive policy which is for the good. A lot of things to be done, huge task, can be achieved subject to us taking it piecemeal. A big cake you want to eat, you eat piece by piece. So if you really want to implement this properly, what I think is that if we take one thing at a time, implement it, go to the other thing without worrying about what the end result is going to be. These are things which will make a difference, but over the years, and NEP and the government has given us enough time to implement this. So we should not worry about it. We should keep going on to it, and we will be able to achieve it because there's a lot of positive buzz around this one important thing. So that's what my point would be. Coming on to be my wish, my one and only wish, that if I were to be the education ministry of the country, I would want to bring in something very important. You see, this NEP, great policy, a lot of work done, a lot of money would be invested, a lot of infrastructure would be put in, but this is not going to be successful unless we have the right people doing the right thing, that is the teachers. So my point here would be that we really would have to take care of our teachers. We have to see to it that the best of people join the teaching fraternity. For that, what we need to do is we need to do two things. First is we need to see to it that we pay them well. And second, we need to see to it that we give them the due respect. If I were to be the Minister of Education, I would consider teachers as the first-class citizens of this country. That's the most important thing that I'll do. So that the right kind of people who are passionate about teaching, who would want to deliver, who want to make a difference, would come into this industry. One, I would want to, share an experience with you, or something which happened recently, almost over 15 days back. In one of these Scandinavian countries, what happened was the doctors and the engineers and the people from accounts are paid less than the teachers. So they all got together, went to the government and said, why is it that we are paid less? The answer was simple: because you people are common people. And the teachers, no, they are not common people. They are the people who develop you, who have made you. So you just can't compare yourself to teachers. So that is what needs to come in. Teachers need to be given the respect that they command. And if you are respected, you will automatically do well. Plus, very important that we need to see to it that this becomes a profession of choice, not compulsion. Not that I don't have anything, and that is important. And I think NEP 2020 somewhere by getting in the 4-year integrated B.Ed course is important. Right after class 12, I know that I want to be a teacher. I'll put my heart into that. That's an important thing. Now, to achieve this, I have actually on a mission. Anuradha ma'am, Vinita ma'am, Geeta ma'am, I think the other sir that we have, Sanjay sir and Ramchandran sir. What I would request you to be a part of a mission that I am on. Now I'm going to share a screen. Just give me a second. I would want to show you something. Let me know if you can see the screen. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So you see, I represent Wordsworth, but you know what we are doing is we need to recognize all educationists. Now, what you see, all doctors write a DR prefix before their name. All chartered accountants write a CA. All engineers write a ER. Why can't we as teachers write an ED before our name? So what I would want to tell you all that let the whole world know that we are educators. Let them give us the respect that we command. And if somebody respects it, you just can't do anything wrong. So let us recognize ourselves. Let us recognize our fraternity and let's get on to this. So I have, without taking your permission, I have just put it this way. Let me know if this works for you. If you could just write an ED in front of your name. Let's not wait for the government to give this to us. Let's recognize ourselves. Let's put it down to our teachers. Let's call a teacher an educationist and with the ED in front of them. This will do wonders. Believe me, this will do wonders. And one day, the whole world will recognize. And they have to understand teachers are the creators of tomorrow's future. Okay, so that's what I would want to say, that if I were to be a minister, I would do that. And even if I'm not a minister, I can request you all to just do this so that this can become prominent. Let all teachers know that. I've been trying to do this on a lot of forums. Very shortly I'm going to put it on change.org. Let's bring it to us, because somewhere somebody has to allow this, but let's do this, ma'am. Yeah, so I would want to thank you all for this. And over to you, Rajulji and the others. Thank you.
Jasminder sir, for this wonderful initiative. And you have our support. Big thanks for doing that, and best wishes.
Thank you.
And why to put it on the change.org? I'm sure you must be having the personal email ID of Modi ji. So why not to write an email to him only?
Okay, I'll take that.
Right. So now I would request Vinita Rajput ma'am. Vinita ma'am, if I may ask you for your concluding remark, and what would be your priority if you get a chance to become a Minister of Education of our country? Vinita ma'am.
I absolutely support NEP. You see, CCE was not talked about as much. NEP has been talked about all over the country, and even few educators from other countries also. I have participated in many forums. So we need to get going. We've talked about it a lot, so everybody almost knows about it. We have done 50 or maybe 70% of it already. So we just need to fall into the structure. That's my opinion. And as to what I would do if I were the education minister for one day, I would definitely, I 100% support Jaswinder Singh ji. This was my opinion also even before he spoke. We must elevate the skills of our teachers. They are the best people on this earth in any corner. They are the professionals who create other professions, and they should be respected a lot. They should be given their dues, and they should not be the lowest paid in the country, and enjoy a very elevated status. That's what I feel, and I want that to happen. I have worked. The first thing that I do is I pick up my arms and swords and quietly start working on getting the pay scales for my teachers and the best of the day. You see, I'm the one who takes the work out of them, and I know how much work I give them. So they should be the ones, who should not feel the pinch of working so hard. They're multitaskers. Even God might not be having these many tasks to do. as many as one teacher has to do. What NEP coming in and what not, poor beings, they should be respected a lot. They should be
Right.
given high salary.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Vinita ma'am, and absolutely we all agree with you. The teachers are in the profession. Teaching is the profession which creates other professionals. So big thanks, Vinita ma'am, for sharing that. And now I would request Dr. CG Geetha ma'am, if we can have your concluding remark, Geetha ma'am, and what would be your priority if you get a chance to become Minister of Education? Geetha ma'am, if we have your presence, yeah.
Hello.
You're audible, ma'am.
Which I release to training teachers. So have before we implementing, we see to it that all schools and teachers are trained well and they are getting a proper awareness about it, how to implement. That should be given the first preference. That is what I feel.
Right, right. Thank you, Geetha
Hope you
ma'am.
could hear me.
Yeah,
Okay.
your last part was audible. Yes, ma'am, you're
You
audible.
couldn't hear the full sentences?
Yes, ma'am.
May I repeat it if you couldn't hear?
Yeah,
Yeah,
please,
if I am the Minister of Education, I would like to see to it that before implementing it, all the head of the institutions and all the teachers are given proper training and they get the real awareness of implementing it. That should be given more preference.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Geetha ma'am, for that strong recommendation. And
Okay, sir.
I just would like to check if we have the presence of M. Ramchandran sir. Ramchandran sir, do we have your presence? So, Nitin Nagpalji, do we have your presence? Yeah. So,
Yes,
I
Sajal.
would request if we can have your concluding remark and what would be your priority, and then I'll go to another ma'am. What would be your priority if you get a chance to become Minister of Education?
In my class, I learned how to sleep with my eyes wide open. This is what I read on the t-shirt of a very young teenager, right? So I am very positive and confident that NEP will ignite the fire among all the educators so that we can awaken our children not only from outside but from the inside as well. This is my concluding remark. And as far as being the education minister of the country is concerned, I think people like Vinita Rajput ma'am, Anuradha ma'am, they should be brought forward. People who have the experience in the education industry for more than a decade, more than 2 decades, they should be brought forward to be the education minister of the country. So if I get a chance, I would like to pass that resolution.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to hear
Thank you,
you.
Nitinji. And now I would request Anuradha ma'am, we would like to end the session with your concluding remarks. I would also present the same question to you. What would be your priority if you get a chance to become Minister of Education for one day?
I've heard it. Yeah, that's an interesting question. And I wish if that happens. First of all, I'll start with the school thing that in the school, besides everything else, we have discussed so many things today. The reading culture, the value system, life skills, and happiness, and building confidence of children. That comes most important to me. And I think that's the most important thing which should happen to a kid. Because my quote for this on my school website is that we have tried to create a happy school. Because we believe that if this happens, every child loves to come to school every morning, then everything else will follow. So I think happiness. And we were talking about, many of our friends have talked about the teachers. Of course, teachers and schools, they deserve tremendous respect. And if I can do it, I will take it to the level of, like we have IAS, Indian Administrative Services, I would say Indian Teaching Services. So ITS, I mean, it should get that level, because the country where education is respected and teachers, get that kind of level and mark, then you can think of how this country would be progressing. And about the changes which I would be bringing, First of all the educationists should be leading all the educational bodies, like whichever you call it, and ministries, because they would know that actually what works, and then the things can go into right direction. And I would like to revamp so many things, because we need to move things from theory to practice, things to experiential learning, whether you talk about textbooks. So they are age old textbooks, means what I had read as a student, same thing, almost the same thing children are reading today in the textbooks. So I think we have to move from theory to practice, and that's how children lose interest when they get to senior classes, because bulk of chapters, too thick books, all full of theories, and all of those, I mean, six were wrong, but we are reading about those postulates. So we'll do that. And last, about the Skill India, or about all the good practices, experiential learning, I would want those colleges and universities to shake hands with schools. All these initiatives should not end up with schools only. If we really want to see that change, that rote learning to be discouraged and experiential learning, then entire examination system and the way children learn in colleges has to be revamped. So I think the list is long, but the main crux I've shared. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Radha ma'am, and uh, this are so useful thoughts. We all hope that you become education minister one day, very soon. Big thanks, Anuradha ma'am, for participating. Big thanks to all the key speakers, and Ramchandran sir, Dr. C.G. Geeta ma'am, Vinita Rajput ma'am, Dr. Sanjay Sakilani sir, Jaswinder sir, Nitin Nagpal ji, for participating and making this session truly special. I also thank the participants for being with us to this very, very long but very special session. Big thanks to all of you. We'll end the session here. Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Look
And
forward to meeting you again.
Yeah, thanks. Loved
you
all the
all.
brainstorming. Wonderful.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot.
it is great to talk with like-minded people. Gives us a lot of introspection and know a lot more. Thank you so
True, true,
much.
Just
true.
Lalaji, I would like to connect with you. Let's talk again
I
sometime
will do
again.
that, ma'am. I will
Okay?
give you a call day after,
Right.
ma'am, tomorrow or day after.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.